Hello friends, this is Yrvind, and now I took away the bumpkin. It was big and clumsy, but on the other hand, it served three purposes. It was for sheeting down the aftmast sail, it was for the rudder, it was for the sculling oar, and the steering. But now I have to do something else. So I'm trying to rig up something here. It's not very clear, but I do a little bit mock-up. And this, however, the rudder is kind of touching here and touching here. So maybe I've cut off a bit here. I don't really like that because I got this tiller and then I couldn't use this tiller, maybe. But I have to do a bit of little thinking. So now, thanks to the jigsaw and some sawdust, it's been cut. And now it really moves a long, long way. Each side. So somehow this is. And then somehow getting close to the coast, this anchor is going to hang out there. Say like 300 miles. I take it out, hang it there, ready. So it's a handy setup here. I don't have to go out on the deck to work on the sails. I don't have to go on the deck to the anchor. So everything can be done from like the inside. Like if I should get old, I don't have to worry. So here is a layer on this mending and 2 layers on the small rudder, and also to think about during the night is this kind of bumpkin. So these are good things, all 3 of them. Hello friends, this is Yrvind and the story continues. I'm with the aluminum boat in the Falkland Islands, and Cathy from the US is my crew. And 30 October, the end of October, we start sailing north towards Mar del Plata. Cathy liked to stay in the Falkland Islands because she likes the penguins and all this animal life there and albatrosses and things like this. But she also liked to sail. So it was decided she come with me up to Mar del Plata. And as always, when you do the port, well, now there were many people looking, you know, they thought we were never going to make it, and Cathy had never been to sea before. And one man, you know, he got lost, you know, and never came back. And then was this man had a little boat. He had been there for a very, very long time in the Falkland Islands. He intended to sail around Cape Leeuwin. But one thing after another, he didn't do it. But then finally, he had no excuses more. You know, he got nothing more to excuse. So all his friends was around him. And Horsland is like a long thing. And here is the entrance. And here is the town. And here's the outlet. So, anyway, he said goodbye to everyone. And he started out. But somehow, you know, steered not exactly to the outside, but so they're standing there looking at him, you know, and then he just ran up on the ground there, on the other side. That was strange, you know. And they saw no movement in the boat, just the boat was up on the beach. So after some time, you know, they launched a boat and see what's happened. And what they found, he was dead. And this has happened to many people, you know. They were so afraid of the sea that they died. That's why he had this, did this not go away so quickly. But anyway, me and Katty sailed around up towards there. And one day, well, Katty liked to do the sailing and things like that. So she was going to go on the foredeck and change the whisker pool. But the whisker pool was one fitting in one end, one fitting in another end, and I had a line between them. So when I put the line, they got released, all of them. So when she was there, she released them, and not only got it released from the jib, but also from the mast. And she lost balance and fell in the water. Now, she had a lifeline on her. But that was not our idea. You know, at the same time, in the 70s and 80s, there is people writing for Cruising World. It was the Lynn and Larry party. And I give advice to people, and I said, never use the lifeline, because it's a hindrance when you walk around. You know, you have to think about this lifeline, and it's better to think about it, and then you know, when you go up on deck, you know there is something you have to think about. And many people like this, you know, Eric Tabarly, he was the most well-known sailor in France. And 64, he won the single-handed transatlantic race, 66 again, and he developed a lot of things. He said, you know, not a lifetime in prison, you know, no lifeline. But then, if one day he fall in the water, he got lost. So I told Katty, no, I don't care what the father say, you know. Now I'm the captain on this boat. Now you have the lifeline on here. So, well, reluctantly she had to. But on the other hand, when she was floating around in the water, it was a good day, you know, no problem with that. Sergeant forward and fished her up. So that was catching the lifeline. And then we made progress. And after progress and more progress, and then we got closer to Mar del Plata. And the day when we made the landfall was very good. The sea was flat and hot, very hot. And somehow, you know, in Argentina, Mar del Plata, it's the pampas behind it. Somehow, you know, all these little insects, little bugs were flying around. And at sea, the only thing they could find, you know, to land on was the boat, breeze. So there was millions of them around there, you know. There's nothing to do, you know. Even if you took away one, you know, there's 10,000 more. So anyway, it was flat, and we got there. But you know, even if it's flat, it can be dangerous, because just as we was getting to the breakwater, a big breaker came up behind. But luckily, Katty was a surfer, and she knew about breaking waves. She said, "Sven, watch out, a breaker." And I quickly closed the hatch and did the steering, and the boat started surfing with a lot of speed. And so we got in anyway, safely. So Katty said goodbye. There was a fishing truck going down to Commodore Rivera, I think it was, and she got a lift with that, and then she got to Falkland Island. Then she found a job as a teacher. Stanley's on the East Falkland Island, but she was a teacher on the West Falkland Island. And like I said, 2 years later, it was war there, and a lot of soldiers, and her house was all surrounded by Argentinian soldiers. Luckily, they didn't rape her. The only thing that begging for food all the time, you know, because the Argentine army didn't feed them well. So I got letters from her, you know, telling me about life on the island. And then somehow she disappeared from my life. So this is another episode on what's happened to me. Thank you for listening.